might possibly be able to guess, it's Mary Badami time. For Girl Talk, we head down to Munich.
Good morning. This is Mary Badami for Temple. A 2-week tour of Russia by bus with 35 other Americans. If you heard my show about a bus tour to Paris, you're probably wondering how the Badamis would sign up for such an ordeal. As Tevye the milkman would say in Fiddler on the Roof, I'll tell you, I don't know. But the lure of seeing Prague, Warsaw, Moscow, Leningrad, and several other cities was too big a temptation to resist. So my next few shows are in various ways inspired by 2 weeks of bouncing in, out, and around Russia. Let's talk about travel in general for the next few weeks, since most of us Americans in Europe share an interest in traveling. Today's show, Mary Badami's Rules for Tour Guides. Our American fellow travelers, if you'll pardon the expression, will recognize quite a few of our own Russian tour guides in what follows. But the truth is, these rules come not only from this trip, but from tour guides we've endured in Munich, Naples, Geneva, and other European cities as well. Rule number 1. Do not mistake the traveler's obedience to orders as interest. When a traveler consigns his body to a 3-hour morning tour of a city, he agrees to submit to whatever the guide chooses to show him. That's quite different from being interested. After the 4th medieval cathedral, town square, and historical museum, the average traveler gets a glazed look and closes his mind to any more information. Now, this is a crucial point in any tour. Follow the example of the tour guides we have encountered. Don't take it into consideration. You, as a tour guide, must persist in showing every square, museum, and cathedral your town can boast of. Explain each statue, monument, and medallion. Then those travelers will have their money's worth. Rule number 2. Answer questions decisively, whether you know the answer or not. The traveler may surely ask questions, but that's usually out of politeness or passing curiosity. What few guides realize is that when a tourist asks, when was this cathedral built, he really doesn't care about the answer. Whether it was 1200 or 1486 or 1672, for the most part the figure is immaterial, and the normal tourist will forget it immediately. It's rather like asking a new mother how much her baby weighed at birth. Whether she says 6 pounds 8 ounces or 7 pounds 2 ounces is really unimportant. Now, if she says 3 pounds or 12 pounds, that's something to comment about. Now, since the answers to the questions are thoroughly irrelevant, your only failure as a tour guide is displaying indecision and uncertainty. Rule number 3 for tour guides. Strive for superlatives. A cagey tour guide realizes that all those dates and names are basically confusing. What really impresses American tourists is not antiquity, but superlative. Since there can be only one oldest university in the world, for instance, you as a guide must make qualifiers for your university. This is the oldest university north of the Alps, the oldest university south of the Alps, the oldest university in Eastern Europe, the oldest English language university, the oldest faculty of medicine in a town under 2 million in population. Those are typical ways to make your university truly memorable. Now, if you're a shrewd tour guide, you can find a superlative for whatever you're showing. If it's not the oldest, then perhaps it's the largest. If it's not the largest in the world, then at least the largest in Europe, or in Northern Europe, or in your own country. And if it's not the largest, perhaps you'll be lucky enough to have the smallest, or the most expensive, or so on. Then, too, you can have a lot of fallout from famous people. George Washington slept here is by now a cliché, but there are literally hundreds of street corners in European cities where famous people were born, lived, worked, ate, performed, or died. They're always good for a quick look out a dirty bus window on a deluxe city tour. So much for 3 rules of defensive tour guiding, much in the line of defensive driving. More rules on defensive tour guiding next week from Mary Badami in Munich, in Tempo.
Thank you, Mary, and good luck in getting your tongue pulled out of your cheek sometime before next week's program.